episode of Dos Nav Cincos. This is episode number 124. This week, in our movie of the week, we cover Thor, Love and Thunder. But before we get into it, as always, I'm your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I am thoroughly disappointed because somebody got my hopes up that there was an all-you-can-eat section at Dodger Stadium. And what do I find? It is, for the foreseeable future, discontinued.
It's all because of Ben's fault.
So thank you. No, thank you, David. Thank you,
Yeah, I got
Stu,
my
for
hopes.
really shoving it right up
Hey,
my ass.
I was just as disappointed as you were.
Did you guys go to a Dodger game?
I was trying
weekend?
to find seats, and I can't find where to get seats specifically for that place. And then I find out they don't do it anymore.
So, yeah, fuck you, David. And fuck you,
fuck
Stu.
the Dodgers.
And fuck the Dodgers.
That's right, I said it.
I don't think they care.
No one cares. It's just the Dodgers.
What? Baseball takes a long time. But all right. Outside of the movie of the week and Ben's disappointment, what else did you see this week?
Is that to me or is that to Ben?
Ben.
Oh, I did watch the finale for The Boys. I don't know if either of you are caught up on it.
I am.
Did you all have any general feelings about how the show or the season ended?
I have a lot of feelings on how the whole season went. If we want to talk about it, I think my gripe with this season is that, like, it didn't feel it. I don't know what it was, but like, it felt like, I feel like the centerpiece of the show is kind of like it's Butcher. Am I wrong in that?
No, you could.
I mean, like, at least like one of the main center.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the whole show is titled after the boys, his little group his little group of ragtag, anti-soup guys. And I feel like this season was like Butcher was still being the boys, but everyone else was like, nah, fuck that. Like, for some reason they just weren't down anymore. I don't know. That was my main gripe with it, because I'm like, I wanted to see them, fighting soups, using the, having to, come up with some crazy, plan because they're just regular people to fight soups. But then it was just like, I don't know, Butcher's off still trying to fight the soups, and everyone else is like, no, Butcher's bad. Which, I'm not saying he's a great guy, but but like, come on, grow up, everyone. Like, fucking everyone's just chose this season to get all high and mighty, and I don't know. That's my main gripe with this season.
You think it's just mostly because he had to become somewhat of a villain to be able to do that?
I think he's like the only one out of the original boys group that, like, at least in this season, like, understood the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck is MM and Frenchie gonna do? Just if they don't go all in.
Yeah.
Like, what's their plan?
I think that well, this season was very divisive among a lot of people, right? A lot of people just did not like how the season ended and thought it was a waste, and they had similar gripes to what you're talking about, right? Where everyone's kind of sitting on their ass, not really taking this seriously, or, not putting up enough effort as Butcher, crossing that line, so to speak. I think that the season was supposed to kind of amplify that message and kind of go along that plot point, how they all want the same thing, but to what extent do they want it? What lines are they willing to cross, and what are they willing to sacrifice to get there? So Butcher is willing. Well, that's what I really liked about the season finale. Spoilers for anyone listening to this that has not watched the season finale yet. A lot of people did not like how the final battle was just abruptly interrupted by Homelander, Ryan. I guess I don't really know how to refer to him as. Is it Homelander's son or is it Butcher's son?
Homelander's
son. Butcher's Ward. I don't know.
Mhm. Yes, Butcher's ward. He abruptly interrupted the big climactic battle, and for the whole season, Butcher has been saying, whatever it takes. He has been doing the dirty work. He didn't care if he was going to die by, injecting temp V into his, into his body. He just wanted to kill Homelander, and he was willing to do like all the morally great things that were possible to get there. But finally, when we get to the last battle, his son shows up, and it just turns out that, well, he wasn't ready to kind of go past that point, right? Like I think they made a really good point about how he's been talking to Soldier Boy, saying that he's not your real son, get over it. And this conflict kind of reflected himself, right? Where this isn't really his son, yet he wants to like kind of sacrifice everything to not kill him and not get him involved. So um it it I think it did a really good job of showing like it's really easy to talk the talk, but when like push comes to shove, can you do it? And Butcher could not. So
I mean,
it
but
was very difficult for
the,
people to watch that and accept that, but I liked it.
in Butcher's defense, he was the only one all season doing the walking and the talking.
He was, yeah. That's
Up
what I like
until,
about it, because he was good up until a certain point, because he was always saying like, I am willing to do whatever it takes.
But I will also say that I feel like that the line that he didn't cross with Ryan
Mhm.
was more of his obligation he made, like to his his wife, who
Right,
is
right.
no longer alive. Not
Yeah,
so much that he likes the kid that much,
exactly. Yeah.
but
So he
but
did
he
draw that line for himself. That's
right,
what I'm saying. Like
but not because it was just
Righteous
a
thing
kid or
or
whatever, but
mhm.
it was because he made that promise to his dying wife that he would try to look after him. So
Yeah, yeah.
if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah, right. So I mean, whether or not like you think that he's the honorable person doing that, or if he's just doing all that other shit the whole entire season, it did come to that point where Butcher did finally have a line that he could not cross at the end.
do we know how many seasons they are up for?
I
4 or
don't know.
5? Have they confirmed? They've already confirmed that they're renewing it, obviously.
Yeah,
But do
yeah.
we know how much farther down the line we're going?
I think Amazon is all in on this, so
Okay.
until Seth Rogen plops over and dies.
Oh dear. And do we know anything about the source material? If that's also been written, or are we like
Yeah,
thoroughly in the Game of Thrones version where like
they've
it's not
actually
even in the book anymore?
they kind of already deviated away from the source material. There's some things that they pluck here and there, but they, for the most part, from what I know, they have definitely taken a lot of liberties with how it went. And a lot of the people who've read the comic book have said that, the show is much better.
Oh.
A lot of descriptions with the original comic is it's very edgy, and that's all it is. It's just very,
Just
very edgy.
just edgelord
Yeah,
material.
just a fucking bunch of edgelord stuff.
They really enjoy the show more than the comic because of the or graphic is it graphic novel or comic?
Whatever,
Who
same thing.
cares?
What's the difference?
It's all the same.
Says
We're gonna
Ben
piss
the
someone off,
connoisseur.
but
Oh, okay. Is it because of the product placement that it makes it feel more real?
um, maybe maybe it's the product placement. Maybe it's the timeliness of it. I feel like it does make a lot of examples of current political situations. So I
Mm.
think that's definitely a lot of the appeal of it right now.
Yeah, and that's actually the part of this season that I dislike the most. This is it's it's like I don't know. It's like I feel like
Trying to be relevant,
this
too
kind of stuff
relevant.
is like it's supposed to be like escapism. You get enough of that shit, you know, just in that throughout daily media consumption, and now you go watch The Boys, see what the Butcher and the boys are up to, and oh, okay,
Social
it's
justice.
just a reflection of what's going on,
Right.
and I've already okay, great.
It's just adding superheroes to whatever's on the news or CNN or MSNBC.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
I mean,
But
to be fair, I
sprinkled
think
with corporate sponsorships.
yeah,
Oh wait, that's still the same.
I
It's
think
always
this the show is only going to lean more into that later on. I
yeah.
know the first season it also dealt with that quite a bit, but it didn't lean so heavily into it.
Right.
But
And
now that they
because
know that they can get away with it,
they did
they're
it
going.
so, it was so prevalent in this season that they are like obligated now to continue with it moving forward.
And for me, I think I'm okay with it. I actually do kind of like it, but I know a lot of people will definitely be off put by a lot of what's going on in there and what's going on in the real world. So yeah, no escapism here. If you want some of that, you better watch a different show.
Yeah.
Oh, how's your viewing experience of the players?
Oh, players? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that almost done?
I actually don't know how many episodes it is, but I am enjoying it still. All the episodes are coming out. It's it definitely took like the first few episodes to kind of hook you in, because I think it definitely had a lot more of the humor in the first few episodes, but now as the season goes on, you get more involved and invested in the story. And it's very odd to say, because it's just like, well, it's about a fake esports team. How invested can you get? But each character becomes very likable in their own sense, and I feel like it definitely doesn't try to go with this angle of representing esports players as like these really
Gods
quirky
among men.
oddballs,
Oh,
I feel like each character in itself they're believable. It's like I totally could imagine this kind of person like kind of treading around in the real world. They're not like caricatures of esports players. They are, very respectable people in of themselves.
did they actually cast anybody that was on a pro team or anything like that?
There might be. Honestly, there are a lot of different like interviews and whatnot going around, and I could not make heads or tails of like, oh, is this an actual person? Like,
Is
I
it
don't know.
only because it's not the fighting game scene?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know anything about League of Legends, but that's what's great about it, right? Like, I don't know anything about League of Legends, but I feel like they give you enough context to be, invested in at least like what's going on during the games versus like what each of their roles are and everything. I think they did a really good job with that.
How well do they showcase the toxicity of League of Legends?
Actually, I think they do a pretty good job, because the one of the main
How many
characters...
keyboards have been broken? That's the
Oh,
main
actually,
question.
man, you should watch it if you want to see that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
How many
Okay.
banned or cancelable words are screamed or shouted in caps lock?
I think there was actually a plot point about that. The main character's tag, his name is Cream Cheese. And after he became, well, that's his tag after he became famous. Before that, his name was Nut Milk. Yeah, so he's like, oh, I don't know why they asked me to change it. It's so weird, what's wrong with Nut Milk?
Yeah, it could be almond or cashew.
They spent a good amount of time just like milking that joke. But
Getting
yeah, I
past
still
the
really enjoy it.
profanity filters, stuff like that. Okay. All right, sounds like pretty good. What about you, Stu? What'd you see this week?
Well, I along with the
Finished The
boys,
Boys,
I
obviously.
caught up on Stranger Things.
Oh, you're all the way done. I
Yeah.
won't say anything since Ben's still...
I'm all the way done. So now it'll be
season
my
3.
turn to ruin it for Ben. So this is what happens.
But
and
can you
then
really
Stranger
ruin Stranger Things?
Okay, I'll give you Ben. How far have you continued to watch it?
No.
Really? Oh, how far did you get?
It's too soon after you hurt him last time.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
got-
Ben doesn't have feelings.
I'll say this though. There's one thing I want to bring up.
What is
about
that?
And this is like a. I think
Semi-spoiler?
What?
Is it a semi-spoiler?
No, it's not even a spoiler. It's
okay.
I want to give the Duffer Brothers major props, or whoever wrote this is kind of like a throwaway nothing line of in the show. But basically, at one point in I think it's the second to last episode.
Okay.
Or either the last or the
part
second
1
last.
of part 2. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's walking along and he says quarter and search by twos. Hicks, take the upper level.
Wow.
And that is directly a direct line from Aliens.
What a terrible line. Oh my god.
Wait. No.
No, you heard it. He agreed. No, it's a
timestamp
timestamp it.
It was such a well. I mean, the line in the show in the show Stranger Things was a throwaway line, but the fact that
They paid homage
yes,
to the
they
shows that came before it, right?
yes.
Episode title: Stu hates aliens.
No, I for some
Ben, if you
reason,
don't stop, Stu's gonna just ruin all of Stranger Things and make you watch it.
and for some reason, it's extremely coincidental that prior to finishing up Stranger Things, I had watched Aliens that day.
Wow.
Like I had it playing in the background.
Wow.
So yeah, shout out to whoever put that line in. I appreciated it.
Stu, what were your thoughts on the soundtrack for the last 2 episodes?
Of Stranger Things.
Uh-huh.
I thought the metal part was really cool.
Ooh, so good.
And that's all I'll say. I don't want to.
I won't say anything else. I don't want to say.
Yeah,
anything
you.
else. I was gonna. I'll ask you later.
Going.
No. I'll ask you later. So, have either of you? How far have either of you started, finished, or watched any of Westworld? Did you guys ever
Zero
in that, Ben?
I read the book flap.
The book flap. Gonna mutter that last.
So after essentially gritting my teeth and getting through season 3, season 4 is actually not too bad. Especially it kind of reminds me of how you guys felt about Obi-Wan, right? There's a couple of episodes that kind of save it. It's like, okay, I understand the tie-in, but these are the episodes I'm here for. The recent episode 3 kind of gave me that feel, but if you guys haven't seen any of it, I guess it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what I've been getting caught up on. And I finally saw, remember that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Ambulance?
Oh, Michael Bay?
Yeah, the Michael Bay.
Yeah,
Did you guys ever watch that?
Came out recently? No.
I finally watched it, and I'll give you this. Without the Transformers, it's not as great. There's no Transformers. Like, I don't like... What do you do?
What a review! Man, this movie was great, except there weren't any Transformers in it.
No. The movie would have been great if they just transformed. That would have been great. That's it. That's a review.
That's literally what I said.
No. But I'm saying.
Oh, see, Ben, David said he wanted the characters to transform.
Right.
Not that there weren't any Transformers in them.
There's also no Transformers either. Nobody transforms in this movie.
Like Optimus Prime or whatever, Starscream.
That would have probably saved this movie.
Tron.
Or Jazz.
Right. Jazz.
Or Bumblebee.
Michael Bay has like a certain style, right? Like tons of explosions and stuff like that. And he does this like what's that? Like lens flare a lot in a lot of his
J.J.
films.
Abrams.
Is that his signature? I just, for some reason, just every time he like had one, like, I don't know, there's like a specific sequence that he does, and he did it like 5 to 6 times in this movie. I was just like, that was strictly just ripped from the original Transformers movie, except for there's no Transformers in this.
I feel like I don't know what the premise of Ambulance is, but
would you like me to tell you?
I mean, it's like a bank robbery thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's a bank robbery that's gone wrong, and
that doesn't strike me as a movie, a screenplay, or whatever. That you go, who we need for this? Michael Bay. Like,
I think he's the only one that could possibly stretch a movie out.
Maybe they should have got Michael Mann instead.
Ooh.
But Michael Bay's like, you need a Bad Boys movie? I got you. You need a Transformers movie? I got you.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really going for, and then the twist at the very end, I was just, whatever. So
we're not. The ambulance was a transformer.
See, that would have saved the movie.
If the ambulance turned into a transformer, is that what you
said? No, I mean,
wait,
you guys
turn into a transformer. You're always a transformer. What do you mean you turn into a transformer?
Wait, Ben, that's not true. If you remember from
my
Dark Side of the Moon or the second
last
one,
week. Turned into a transformer.
All right, whatever. Clearly, it doesn't matter. All right, let's move over to our box office rundown for this week. At number 1 is our movie of the week. No surprise, Thor: Love and Thunder with $144 million.
That's not Minions.
Number 2,
Minions.
The Gentle Minions,
Woo!
The Rise of Gru with $46 million. Number 3, Top Gun: Maverick.
Nice.
Number 4, Elvis. Number 5, Jurassic World: Dominion. Number
Bad.
6, The Black Phone. Number 7, Lightyear, which apparently is causing a lot of somebody's getting a lot of grief for not showing up to watch that movie in theaters or something like that. Number 8, up from number 11, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Woo!
Ben, how many times have you seen that? It's A24.
A24 supremacy. Let's go.
Number 9, I think there's a subscription that's coming out for A24, right?
I
Something like
bought
that.
it. I have money.
Oh, did you
Here it is.
already?
Here's my
Okay.
checkbook. Just take it.
Yeah, because I think they're going to be releasing a streaming service or something like that. I vaguely remember somebody.
90% of our content is just male penises.
Oh, say less.
Show more. All right, number 9, Mr. Malcolm's List. Number 10, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. For some
Wow.
reason, get it?
Wow.
Just borrow someone's Disney Plus at this point, please. And falling out of the top 10 is Everything Everywhere All at
Oh,
Once.
no.
Woo!
But that brings
Good
its
for
grand
it.
total to $67 million,
Woo!
which is still more than what the Black Phone has brought in.
Ow. Woo!
Well, I mean,
Whoa, okay.
Black Phone hasn't been out as long, but
Yeah.
not that I
Yeah,
expect
but it's
Black
also-
Phone to rake it in, but
Yeah, but yeah. Questions, comments, concerns.
did you see the Guru movie, David?
No, I did not. Ben, did
Are
you?
you sure?
No, I'm serious. I haven't seen it.
That doesn't seem very convincing, David.
I am
but I'll
waiting for the.
believe
I'm
you.
waiting for the box set,
with the limited edition banana that comes
dude.
with
It's
it.
going to be shaped like a banana, dude. No, I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy the box set on Prime Video, and they'll just send you a banana. All right. Nothing on this. All right, let's jump over to our movie review. Ben, tell us about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor Love and Thunder finds our hero stacked against Gore, the God Butcher, as he rampages across the universe, slaying any god in his wake. For this adventure, it'll take much more than Thor Odinson to achieve victory. No, it will take the combined forces of Thor, Korg, Valkyrie, the King of Asgard, and the newest addition to the MCU, Mighty Thor, aka Jane Foster. A fine addition to all the Marvel heroes out there. Finally, a strong female hero. No, I was starting to get a bit worried. We weren't getting any cool, strong female heroes.
It's been very male centric the past 15 years.
It has, but Marvel has done it again.
Finally done it.
With the past few heroes, Black Widow's dead, Gamora's dead,
Not
Wanda's dead, Captain Carter's dead, the other Captain Marvel is dead. I mean, I have high hopes for this new.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
I hope she stays around for at least 10 years. At least.
Have her own separate story arc. It's gonna be
And
great.
another movie just for her. Because, God, we need it.
I see what you did there. All right, Stu, thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder?
So when I was watching it, I found it, fairly enjoyable. There were parts I wasn't really a fan of, and in general, one thing we'll get to in the spoilers. There just one thing in general in movies and TV, I just can't get on board with, which occurs at the end of the movie, which we'll talk about later. But that one was kind of like a real big thorn in my claw about the movie. But I gotta say, Christian Bale knocked it out of the park. He's like, it's almost it's funny because like there's Chris Hemsworth where he's like, okay, that's cool. We're kind of familiar with Chris Hemsworth and his Thor character, and then like having Christian Bale there, I feel like just completely outshined everyone else in the movie. Just
Sucked
everything,
all the oxygen out of the room.
everything he just stole the show each time he's on screen. And it was, and I think I might be going out on a limb to say that I feel like this movie actually did pulled off some kind of a horror element better
Yes.
than Doctor Strange in the
Ooh.
Multiverse of Madness, um, with Christian Bale's gore, the God Killer,
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of his scenes. Not to say, I mean, I'd have to go back and do a side by side, but having said all that, there was still, it was fairly enjoyable, but there were some parts of it I just couldn't get past,
Mm.
and so this is gonna be a very, I don't want to say what's it, hard? Is it hard or soft?
Hard.
A hard 6.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
I agree that Christian Bale definitely elevated the scenes he was in. He definitely was like the highlight of whatever part he was in. However, I do think that he did not get enough screen time.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, as like someone who brought so much charisma, not charisma, but
Gravity,
yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. Like,
gravitas.
yeah, gravitas to whatever scene he was a part of. Like, he was in it for a surprisingly spare amount of time. He almost felt like a side plot to the movie. Whereas the main thing that they're trying to get across was something completely different. It definitely felt like Gore or Christian Bale was like a side thought or an afterthought that they just kind of chucked in. And even his character and his weapon, which we'll get into kind of later, that I do want to point out is not as important as I think it should be. I don't think this is a spoiler because he was revealed in the trailer, but Russell Crowe's character also, it would have been great to get a little uh, more of Russell Crowe in there. The after credit scene, it was okay. I don't really know what to make of both of them. So yeah, I mean, if you really like Taika Waititi stuff, this is for you. But I do feel the Taika Waititi burnout. He, I feel like
He,
you can only take so much of
we've
that
seen
kind
him
of
a lot
humor.
recently.
Yeah,
I
I mean, he's
mean,
just everywhere. It's just like, oh, Taika Waititi this, Taika Waititi that, Taika Waititi flavored drinks. It's just like,
Especially when he ultimately just plays himself.
yeah, I mean
in
that's what
every
it
single
is.
right, Lightyear, this Korg. I mean, but Korg kind of that's the charm that we all kind of fell in love with
I
the
mean, that
first
was,
time,
yeah. I
right?
mean, Korg is fine because that was kind of like our introduction, I
To him,
feel,
right?
to like that character. But then once you realize that's just Taika Waititi, and he just copy pastes it to whatever else he does. Although,
Yeah.
with the exception, I guess, of Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, I like his own brand of movies. I feel like I really like those because Taika Waititi himself kind of takes a back seat to the rest of the movie. He actually does take a lot of care and packages this whole ensemble into its own thing. He shows up for like one or two small roles and he does inject himself and does act exactly like Taika Waititi in that sense, but I think he lets the rest of the movie shine out. Whereas this one is just like, hey, look at me, I'm Taika Waititi, my tie. Um, so yeah, I am exactly where Stu lands. A very hard 6.
Okay, well, I guess we're all in agreement because it's going to be a 6 for me too.
Oh
I feel
God,
like
Damn, the
the
sign
number
of
of
the
the
I
beast.
beast. Let's go.
we've gotten a little bit of overload from it, and I think from with such reach and exposure from us watching Lightyear and getting that and realizing, wait a minute, that's just
It's
him
just
playing
Taika.
right. And I think because of the fact that he delivered the first time in Thor Ragnarok so well, and we kept saying, give us more, give us more. I'm starting to feel, I know this is going to sound sacrilegious, but we're kind of getting the Amy Schumer effect now, where it's kind of like, it's a lot. Like, dude, give me 6 months or a year without seeing anything from you at all. But that helped was balanced out by Christian Bale. And I agree with you, Stu. Like, there's definitely some horror elements. I think I was watching an interview with Chris Hemsworth and Taika on a New Zealand talk show, and they were saying, "Well, can you tell me how filming with Christian Bale is? How is he? Is he in character the entire time?" He goes, "Yeah, he's just like that. We sometimes capture some of that stuff on film." Um, and I think they asked like, is there a cut of the film that there's just so much footage of that would have included a lot of a lot of gore in the movie? And they said yes, but they had to take it out because apparently it would have not passed the PG-13 requirement. So, but yeah, there was apparently a scene where, oh, is this technically a spoiler? No, you see it
It's
in the
not in the
trailer.
movie, then it's not a
Well, it's not in
spoiler.
the trailer. Well, so you see at the very beginning he has all those tribal tattoos on his face and stuff like that, but then you see at the very end, like towards the end, he's kind of got all these scars all over the place. So apparently there was a scene where he removes all of the scars.
Oh.
He removes all of the tribal signets on his body, and it leaves all these scars and stuff like that. Apparently, that is not PG-13, which is surprising to me since for what passes as PG-13 nowadays. But yeah, apparently there was a lot of like different scenes that were filmed that never made it to the final cut. That would have extended a lot of Christian Bale's like screen time, which I think would have helped elevate this and probably taken a little bit of the responsibility off of Taika's shoulders to try to inject the joke all the time. I felt like he was forcing it so often it kind of lost its.
Like were the screeching goats really necessary?
They definitely a lot.
It was funny at the very beginning, but it kind of got old.
Yeah, and I felt like it was definitely, I guess, a good way to put it is like tonal whiplash, right? Like, towards the end of the movie, I feel like they definitely got to a more serious area, and there was the fucking goats, you know? It's just like, fucking kidding me? Like, I can't. Like, what were you trying to make me feel here, you know? You got, like, Christian Bale right there being menacing as shit. And then you got, like, screaming goats.
This
like,
is the weirdest boner ever.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of just weird, like, pairings of stuff. Timing's a little bit off. I mean, you kind of know what you're expecting when you get this type of film, especially a Marvel Taika joint. But wait, I just realized I didn't say the word pegged at all this entire episode.
It's a good thing.
But no, I can't work it in now at this point. I just realized that
You're
that was
forcing
something that happened No, it just was something that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I just kept thinking, I was like, wait, I just realized that
pegging
was
on the mind.
Pegging happened like a couple weeks ago for you?
No,
David got pegged. Mark it down. It's like Freddie got fingered. David got pegged.
Okay. All right. I guess we could jump over to spoiler zone. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about?
So the thing that I wanted to mention that this is like a general rule for me, with probably very few exceptions, but the whole thing with like the kids and the superpowers now, and they're fighting shadow monsters. I'm like, come on, like.
I felt it was reminiscent of something. Where have we seen this before?
I wouldn't know.
Probably something. I just can't think of it right now.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! They're fighting in the Shadow Realm.
Oh, that's not at all what I was thinking. But
that's the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! R.I.P.
Oh yeah. All right.
But that part I just thought was a little too silly. Like, and it's like, come on. It's like, and also, I mean, I don't know. This is like a guy. Like, I felt like that also with like, while I didn't mind Natalie Portman's Mighty Thor, I'm just thinking like, well, I know like you get the powers and everything, but like, how do you know how to fight? Like, how do you know how to do all this stuff? Like, you
the
just
hammer
know?
teaches you. Yeah.
But like Thor, he's thousands of years old. He's been doing this his whole life,
right?
So like, and then so like the kids are suddenly gonna be warriors now, or how does that work? And then if Thor could do that, where was this shit during the Infinity Saga?
Yeah, why wasn't he empowering regular people to become soldiers in the fight
like
Thanos?
in Infinity War, in that fight?
So like, what was explained to me was that it was Zeus's thunderbolt that allowed that, but at the same time, it's like how did
We
he
don't
know how to do that? You
we
know,
don't
like
allow deep comic book lore knowledge into the MCU. All right, Bowie.
this is not
Wait, Ben,
place
I
for
gotta
fun.
ask during the second stinger,
Yeah.
after did Bowie jump up and yell "Yo" when he saw Hercules,
Um, he
or did he
actually
just
he
start
actually did
convulsing?
kind of go yo, but then it was briefly out there, and he took it back because he just stared for a bit. He's like, eh.
He learned
That
from
got
last time.
No, I think he was just more disappointed
Uh,
with the reveal. I guess like Hercules is in the Marvel comics, but it's just like, it's Hercules, you know. I
But
think it was
Hercules is
more.
supposed to be a big like rival to Thor, so I think they're building
Uh,
towards something, right?
no, I mean like, it's just Hercules. I mean, and
But it's not just Hercules. It's you guys didn't watch.
I
Did you
did,
guys watch
yeah,
Ted Lasso?
I did, and I was excited. You know, he's there, he's here, he's there, he's
Yeah,
fucking everywhere.
everywhere. It's Roy Kent. Roy Kent. Sorry. Irene was really excited when she saw that. She's like, "What? Roy Kent?" I was like, "No, it's Hercules."
No, it's Roy Kent. Who the fuck is Hercules? It's
That's
fucking
true.
Roy
Roy
Kent.
Kent. Dude, that'd be great if you the next in the next Thor movie, it's gonna be Roy Kent.
That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, just to go back to what Stu was saying about the kids and stuff, it did seem like there was supposed to be some sort of larger story arc for the kids and more tie-in, and I think I would have been okay with the final scene featuring those kids and getting all the powers and everything, and I felt like it probably would have resonated better if they spent more time tying them in, because after a while you kind of forget. It's like, why the fuck are these kids here, you know? It's like, um that it did seem like there was some supposed to be some sort of like uh
Narrative
a
vehicle
more.
that they're supposed to use.
No, I mean like they seem like they're supposed to tie in better thematically to the movie, because the beginning of the movie starts out with Korg, you know, telling the story about Thor to all these kids and everything, and then later on we got this parallel between like Gore doing the exact same thing to all the kids as well. But that's like the only time it really happens, and by the end of the movie you kind of forget that Korg is telling a story to all these kids. They never even cut back to it, you know. I felt like they definitely cut that part out along with all this other stuff. So I'm, you know, it got it. You can't help but wonder. It's like, why did they cut out all this other stuff, right?
Mm.
are we gonna have to do a Snyder cut version style of this movie to get the good one?
There,
Maybe.
there was somebody the talk show. They asked me, he goes, "Is there a version of this film that has all of like the scenes and stuff like that? Like, how is that?" And he goes, "It's the worst movie ever created." 'Cause like, so apparently they shoot like something like 70 hours worth of like film, and then they condense it down to 2 hours to make something that makes sense. But
I mean,
I guess that's just the way he builds films, right?
I feel like that's a lot of every other film in
Um,
existence, right?
Yeah.
yeah, they probably film at least you know several more hours than the actual runtime,
Yeah, and then
and
the
then
editor. That's the editor's job of taking all that. Wait,
you
why
know
is that funny? That's literally what happens,
I
David.
know, but
What's the
that just
joke
sounds
here?
horrible. Just being like, all right, I need you to cut all of this down to
you
something
know
that makes sense.
That's literally the editor's job, David. That's not a joke. That's literally it.
that's where the cutting room floor saying comes from.
Yes.
But I will say this: when I was a kid, uh, similar to how I thought serial killers were the characters on cereal boxes that would kill you, um, I thought that movies were shot in like all one take, and I'm like, how did the actors memorize their lines the whole movie?
You're
That's
wasting our film.
yeah.
As soon as the
uh,
film fucks up, they just
Well, all
trash
right,
the film.
reset back to one.
oh man, that's why like live theater is that's crazy that people can do that for just remember all their lines, remember that they need to
Yeah.
change outfits and stuff like that. Obviously, the set never moves, but
I mean, there are some
um,
films that do that, but I feel like it's more of a gimmick at this point, you know, rather than
right.
anything, right?
We definitely really appreciate, like for example, what was the movie
17.
Yeah, where we
1917.
really
I
appreciate
mean,
that single cut. That
it
was
wasn't all in one take though, so
no,
But it was like stitched. The parts that weren't were stitched pretty seamlessly
yeah.
yeah. So
together to make it. So that was good.
Hmm.
or like
continuous
the gunfight in Hard Boiled, the police shootout.
Holy fuck, man! That is a ooh. But anyways, this isn't about hard boiled.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
One
we could have an episode about
yeah.
hard boiled. But,
One thing there was, I mean, along with just the kind of the general, I mean, in general the humor was, you know, decent. It had its ups and downs. I did like, although I
Screaming
liked,
goats.
well, no, I did not like the screaming goats past the opening minutes
Mhm.
of the movie, but I did like how Stormbreaker, there was like a
oh my god, yeah, that
Oh,
was great.
the unrequited love almost.
it's like Stormbreaker and Mjolnir and Thor were like in a love triangle.
Oh,
That was great. I did really like the what was it? Not the physical humor, but like the visual humor of
Yeah.
that, of like Stormbreaker just slowly creeping
Yeah,
into
just
shot.
in the corner frame.
Yeah, I called you.
Oh hey, I was just talking about you. that was good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those jokes.
Yeah.
But I do feel like what you're saying, like a lot of the jokes were kind of hit and miss for
Yeah.
me, and some of the jokes felt like very throwaway. In fact, I actually felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a throwaway because like
yeah.
they're not even a part of it outside of just to deliver him to that planet, and
Yeah.
then they piss off.
And it feels really disappointing because the way that it was set up in Endgame, you know, that was like how many years ago? 2 years ago at this point,
Mm-hmm.
or three years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I guess there was some sort of excitement because like, oh, you know, Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, where are they going to get up to? You know,
Yeah.
and it's literally like 5 minutes and they're
Yeah.
gone, and it literally had no impact on the story other than, oh, he worked out on the
Right.
side, not even with them. He was just working out by himself.
Yeah, they were there to be a part of the montage, and then they
Yeah.
pieced out.
It's
Yeah.
really that's really unfortunate too, because I'm remembering now, like, you know, after Endgame, I'm like, oh, when I heard there was going to be another Thor movie with the and Guardians and everything, like, oh, sweet, Thor's going to be, you know, he's going to be hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and because I really like Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth chemistry together on
Yeah.
screen, and then, you know, we got a tiny little bit of it in this movie, and then also, I don't know, why wasn't Gamora here, or did she like leave or
Oh
something?
no! I mean, that was part of Endgame where she, at
Oh,
the
she
end of the
left.
movie, Chris was, or not Chris, Star Lord was
I'm
looking
on a
for
first
her.
name basis with Star Lord.
Yeah, he was looking for her at the
That's
end of the
right.
movie.
I forgot about that.
She
Yeah.
disappeared. So that's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like it was such a waste. You know, like from a comic book perspective, like I feel like that would have been really really cool to see. And they totally squandered it. They were just like, yeah, who cares? I know you've been waiting 3 years for this, but fuck you. You know,
I
it's
really
disappointing.
enjoyed that.
So another thing I wanted to talk about, kind of in the same vein in terms of comic books, is the I guess I was a little excited when they announced that Gore, the God Butcher, was going to be the antagonist because he was wielding a sword, and that sword in of itself is kind of important too. So for everyone who's not aware of whatever he's, you know, wielding, is all black, the Necro sword, and that sword has a bigger tie-in to actually Spider-Man, because this thing is
Venom, right?
yeah, it's a symbiote. It's like Venom,
Mm.
and they just killed it. And it's like, oh, who fucking cares, you know? This sword was like very, especially important to the person who created all the symbiotes, you know? So I thought we were actually going to get a tie-in with like Spider-Man in some sense, but no, it was just like Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, just fucking squandered and completely destroyed. I mean, the way it was destroyed was kind of cool, but other than that, I was just like, eh. And you know, Natalie Portman returning as Mighty Thor. I thought, oh, this is cool, you know, like we're gonna get a strong female Marvel character finally that's not gonna die. She's not gonna die. Not at all.
She's in Valhalla at least.
I don't fucking get it. Why does Marvel hate women?
Actually, that should have been what we talked about.
I don't want to. It's like Andy and the Woody toy. Like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
I know, what the fuck? Like, hey, let's take this movie to introduce a potentially really cool character. Mighty Thor. Okay, cool. Oh, I can get behind this. Oh, she's pretty likable. Oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
She's
But
dead.
she's in Valhalla.
I read or heard something was saying like I don't know if the idea was to like set her up to take over after Chris Hemsworth, but
That's
it's
what I heard
Yeah,
too.
that's what I thought was
but
going to happen.
right. I thought I'd heard that too, but then I had also heard that she's like 2 years older than him,
Oh,
so that doesn't really work out long term.
yeah, I guess so. You need someone younger, and I feel like they are definitely taking a lot of time to set up the younger side of Marvel right now. You know, with like all the teenagers and the younger stars, like what?
Streamers.
Yeah,
Like all of his own kids.
well, no, yeah, they, I guess, yeah, his kid,
Yep.
Miss Marvel, you know, she's young. Kate Bishop, you know, Hawkeye, she's young. What's her face? Zach Braff's girlfriend, who I can't remember, Florence Pugh, as Yelena. You know,
Isn't she almost just as old as Scarlet?
is she? I don't know.
Who the hell is Florence Pugh?
She plays
Midsommar.
Oh God, I hate her.
Oh, she's 26. Never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
That's wrong. I thought they were the same age. They play sisters.
Wait, was she in?
She was in Black Widow, and
yeah,
she's
she's a
also
sister?
in right.
Yeah. So I feel like they're setting up for like the younger, you know, the next wave to kind of take over.
I like her better in Black Widow than Midsommar.
Then Midsommar.
You know, I actually liked her acting in Midsommar. I just didn't like the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
I felt like it was super duper. You know, this is not the Midsommar. we could have one. Another one.
Just an hour-long shit fest on Midsommar.
Midsommar is the worst movies.
Let me count the ways.
Actually, the one take I'd be more interested to hear from is Stu's take, because weren't you dragged to that movie by Ben?
No, I wasn't
False
dragged to it. I was like,
pretenses?
oh, sweet. It was like, oh, I think Ben was like, oh, you should watch Hereditary, and I watched it. It's like, oh, that was amazing. And then he's like, oh, let's go watch Midsommar. It's the same whoever. I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, that's. I mean, I think we were both equally disappointed by it.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing.
So I can't really like fault Ben for that.
That's not what it sounded like the last time when we talked about it.
Well,
a little bit of.
I just like to make it seem like it's his fault.
Yeah, he likes to amp up the drama on the show. When in actuality, we hate each other much more.
Really can't stand him, but for the show, I'll do it.
Yeah, we're like Adam Savage and what's his face, Jamie from MythBusters.
Oh my God.
Yeah, on the show we're adversarial, and outside of the show we hate each other.
We just key each other's car every day, and we just buy a new car the next day.
I just throw the other car away. I just buy the exact same one each time.
But yeah, I guess overall the movie was like, I don't know, it was a little bit disappointing. You know, it had some parts here and there that I'm like, yeah, I like this, like especially Christian Bale's parts. But when you think about it in the overall scope and how all those parts were stitched together, yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
I did like how Russell Crowe's Zeus he just sounds like he's just like, I'm just gonna play him as a Greek immigrant.
Look at me, I'm a Zeus.
I didn't like, and so like as far as like the humor, like the good humor, like when he comes down from his little podium thing, he lifts up his toga,
dress.
or whatever he's wearing.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah. And like I said, I wish we got more of Zeus. You know, it just felt so abrupt and short. You know, that whole what was it called? The
Omnicity.
Omnicity.
Omnicity. Is it really called Omnicity?
I think it was called Omnicity.
That sounds like a brand of like.
I think it was
Omnicity
City or something. I don't know. It's hard to say.
That really sounds like a brand of like vegan pork or something.
Oh, Omnipotence City. Omnipotence City.
Yeah.
Wow, they really missed Omnicity.
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 But yeah, I felt like that whole area was interesting in of itself, like the idea of having like a whole city full of gods and everything. And then totally squandered. Like everything else in the movie.
The bow god. We
really
need to dive
the
into that
XLB god. It wasn't even just like the regular bready kind of bow. No, it was the XLB bow.
Got the soup spoon.
Yeah, it was in the soup spoon. I'm like, oh my liege.
Good thing that wasn't Gore's god. Otherwise, he'd be gone.
He would have
Well,
poured him out on the floor.
yeah, I know. He'd be like a fucking idiot. It's like, oh, look at this dude. He fucking let the soup spill everywhere.
He didn't even put it in his spoon first.
What an idiot! Look at this guy.
Didn't burn his mouth. That's what
He's
we do. All right.
definitely not down to fung.
The one of the parts that I would have really liked in this movie was, to like I know I keep saying like it'd be nice to have more Christian Bale, but the idea that they named him the God Butcher and you just hear all about it offhand that hey, he killed some gods is like, oh my god, that's so terrible. It's like you never actually watch him do anything though. You never actually see him slay a
I'm
god other
sure
than the
they
first
probably
scene.
did, but I think it might have been too
graphic.
Yeah, but I guess like it didn't really raise the stakes or anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't give you like a good it doesn't give you good insight or like any relevance into how terrifying he actually is. Like, yeah, you get his mannerisms, and I feel like he definitely, gives off a very foreboding personality. But it would have been great to actually see how he fares in like combat or anything.
right. How did he become that way? Right. It
Yeah.
was like he kind of got scorned at the beginning, and then you see that he's gone from like, from being God worshiper to now God killer.
Yeah.
But you never see that transition. I agree with you. I think that would have been nice to at least see like maybe he struggles the first time he encounters one of the gods that he slaughters, right? And then
Yeah.
as you see him get better and better, like we just have to assume at some point he's done all this god killing that he's on everybody's radar, and he shows up at New Valhalla with the necro sword, delivers all these shadow monsters, kidnaps the children, and then the next time we see him, he's pretty much like on his way to dying, pretty much.
Yeah, like you don't really get to see how easily he can kill a god. You see one of them just because he caught him by surprise, but and like what he can make shadow monsters. Cool, that's great.
It would have been a great horror film, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't deny that the shadow monsters themselves and the aesthetic of them were really cool, but it's still like it would have been nice to see Christian Bale do something.
Yeah, come on, do something.
Do something.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
a lot of those Thor wasted opportunities.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from you, Stu?
I did like how they played Natalie Portman's Thor, where although it's like okay, she's like getting all the combat already, like she already knows how to do everything. That's okay, whatever. But I did like how they made it so like she was still kind of like unsure of herself.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. I thought they were honestly going to go with the whole angle of, oh, look, she's just better than you, Thor. But no, she was like, oh, am I doing this right? Like, what should I say?
I need a catchphrase.
Yeah. I really like that. They were kind of on equal ground where both of them weren't really sure of themselves. And I think it was like a good dynamic in that sense. They were like offering each other advice on some portions of how to like present themselves as Thor, but they were missing some components and each of them filled in those gaps for each other. I think it was a really cool way of building their characters.
Yeah, I think we could have had the oops, I just ended up with Mjolnir and I don't know how to use this thing. That'd been great at the very beginning.
Yeah, because I think the opposite, which I think is probably too prone to happening, is that she just would have been like there and she would have been better than Thor and doing everything better than Thor. And it's like, come on, she literally just got this and then she's better now. Why? Like,
well, actually, okay, so I know it's not like as good as like thousands of years or hundreds of years worth of training, but I think they did a pretty poor job of communicating the fact that Jane Foster had Mjolnir for a bit.
Like, they made it seem like in the movie she had just shown up like 2 days ago.
That's what I'm saying. It was just like, oh, like how long did she have it? We don't know because like Valkyrie was already well aware of her having it, right?
Right, and she's like, wait a load till you get a load of the next guy.
And the townspeople were cheering because they seem to like already know who she is, But I felt like the cut between the previous scene and that scene was so fast it was like, wait, did she just get it? Like, or does she? Has it been a while? Like, we don't know how long it's been since
I
she got
could have
that.
sworn there was a part where they said like she had just shown up like in the number of days ago.
ahead of the attack.
Yeah. So I was like, that's. I mean, but either way, yeah, it was not communicated very well.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I felt like a lot of this movie was definitely cut into pieces, hacked together, stitched back together, and I felt like we definitely lost a lot from that.
Well, okay. All right, let's wrap it up for this week. Actually, I think this is going to be the last one for quite some time.
Wow.
For me, because
Thank
this
God.
week we're expecting the birth of our son.
Oh man, that means my
Yeah.
day was wrong.
No, I mean it has. Wait, what day did you have, Stu?
I think I had the 8th.
Yeah, no, it hasn't happened yet.
Are you
Ben,
sure?
what day did you have?
Have you checked?
I'm pretty sure she would have probably asked me to take her to the
I don't know,
hospital.
David. You might want to check on that to see if
Hey, Apex, I'm almost level 500. Okay, just kidding. Ben, when did you have? What day?
I'll tell you when Jeremiah is born.
Oh, so not yet.
Okay. No, because we were our actual due date, depending on our first doctor said it was on Tuesday the 12th, and then the one that we've been going to, they said Wednesday.
Is it like Amazon where you can get like a free $5
1 or
credit
2
because they're
yeah.
late?
No, because they're wrong.
Want to deliver it next week? You'll get $1 in the.
Oh, if I ordered on Prime on the Amazon Day or whatever, Prime Day.
Yeah, can you get my baby delivered on Amazon Day?
I think if it was up to Irene, I think she would prefer that. Because
are they trying to like? Are they gonna induce it, or are they just like, it'll probably be around this time?
At this point, we're kind of hoping that it happens naturally. If not, then we'll probably have an induction date scheduled on Thursday for. We're seeing our obstetrician once more on Thursday, so maybe we'll have an induction date after that. Just seeing how far we're along and stuff like that. So
all right, I can finally stop having to edit and make pictures and post stuff. For at least for a while.
I thought you guys were. I actually originally at one point thought that you guys were going to take up the mantle and have somebody else.
I'm going to talk to Ben for 40 minutes every week.
Yeah, no, this is the saving grace.
No,
I don't have to talk.
Don't you guys have somebody else that you like dunking on more than me?
No,
you're the best.
At being dunked on.
You're the Michael Jordan of being dunked on.
You are the basketball.
Wait, that makes me like Sean Bradley. That's not good. That guy had a very short basketball career.
But it was short and sweet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the sweet part for you, but it was short.
Wait. If you're in the picture, do you get royalties? Because I'm pretty sure that picture of Sean Bradley getting dunked on by Kobe and Vince Carter. I mean, does he get royalties for that?
Bitch royalties, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, $1's $1, man.
Hey, this is off topic, but in the NBA, has there ever been a double player dunk?
Like
double player?
2 people dunking it at the same time?
Yeah.
Ben, have you ever watched a basketball scrimmage before?
Maybe if they were both trying to get like the rebound and they both like touched it in or something.
No, I want to see an intentional one where like all the style is there, and they
like,
both
it's a
just
plan.
Wait, so you're saying that they're running side by side, and then they
like a fast break,
This is how it works. This is how it's going to go down. 80 sets the screen at the top of the key. LeBron dribbles past him. 80 rolls to the rim. LeBron hands the ball with 2 hands to AD, and they both go up with it.
No, it's got to be like the Space Jam version where one of them has a hand on, the other one also has a hand on it, and they both dunk it at the same time.
I don't think that happened in Space Jam, David.
No, as in like they had their hands on the same basketball and they stole all the powers, but this time it just goes in the basket. This time,
the answer is no. I don't think that's happened before.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
Ben, you're gonna be waiting a long time. I'm pretty sure.
There has to be someone who's thinking about it. It's like how can
I mean, I did ask, like, I did look up one day of the one time that like there was 2 people who knocked each other out. I thought that was impossible, but it has happened.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
anything is possible. And then after that, someone has to up the ante and go for the entire
Triple?
team dunk.
Okay, that's a little. I don't know if that's physically
and then
possible.
the double 3-point shot, and then the team 3-point shot.
and the whole team tech.
Wait, hold on.
The whole
Spur-
team ejected.
That's a weak one. But technically there's 3 pair of hands and then an extra hand on it to count as a double dunk. I don't know if that really counts.
It could.
Here, I'll send this to you. So, Ben, start looking for the triple dunk. This barely counts. But guys, I know this won't be the last, but it has been a real pleasure to be able to record with you guys every week for the last 123 plus episodes, plus including this one, so 124. It's been I actually did not think we were going to make it past like it's 6 weeks.
It's the longest. This is the longest game of chicken we've ever played.
And David, you lost.
I did.
You blinked.
Jeremiah, it's your fault for being born. If this thing gets traction and we're not able to record anymore, and Stu and Ben become millionaires, you owe me. This is going on YouTube.
I'm gonna send him a birthday card that has a quote from David. Says, "It's your fault, Jeremiah, for being born,
and ruining my podcast career,
ruining my life's ambitions and goals."
We were about to break through, and then you were born.
And then you just had to go and be born.
I'm just kidding. You're literally going to be the best thing that's ever happened.
This part, I'll cut that part out. This one.
And then I'll restitch it in.
It's going to sound weird that way, but
just like Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh my god. That's what editors are for. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go back and listen to all of our previous episodes. If you guys want to see us come back, tell Stu or Ben or something. Check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/DosNavCincos. As always, I'm your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I have been Ben.
I was Ben.
What are you now?
Now I don't know.
I'm vengeance. All right. Guys, don't forget to tip your Reiki Master. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.